I know that I'm not going to live long. And that's why I put every day, every hour, every minute into building, into growing. Why am I out here working on this plastic into fuel reactor I've been working on for 5 years, since I was 17? Why am I out here in 100-degree weather? Why am I out here despite being falsely accused and reported to the EPA and the IRS? Why am I out here despite weird black helicopters that turn off their radar transponder circling me 6 times at night? Why am I out here sleeping in my van, crazy humidity, mosquitoes, gnats flying in, and yet I still do it? Why am I out here despite having to drive 4 hours every time I want to work on this machine? Because when I was doing it in my parents' backyard, I blew myself up and I had to go to the hospital for 2nd-degree burn surgery. I do this because this is my mission that I've assigned myself to. I do this because I do not fear death. I do not fear suffering or uncomfortability. You know what I fear? I fear allowing an idea of something that may not even exist or happen have enough control over your entire life to where you're not even really living your life. That's the only thing I fear. And thus, I am completely set on what I want to do here, and nothing will steer my course but myself. And I am not a quitter. And now that I've set my mind on this, because I wish to liberate humanity, I wish to liberate humanity from this cycle in which we're bound by waste, in this cycle in which we're bound by division, in this cycle in which we're bound by not knowing ourselves. I wish to free us all from all of this. And now that I'm set on that mission, I'm not giving up. And so it will happen, no matter what. Because you know what? To me, when I'm building something, I expect it to be hard. I expect it to be uncomfortable. I expect it to be difficult. You know why? Because that's the whole point. You have to suffer to grow. You have to feel uncomfortable to attribute value to what you do. So you may see this and you see a piece of metal with certain pieces of metal welded onto it, but I see it for what it really is. I see it because when I see this, I can go back in time to not just putting it together, but the motivation as to why I put it together, the hope, the purpose, the passion, all right here embodied. My soul is within this, just as yours is within anything you do and put your mind to as well. So if you wonder why I'm out here and why I'm not gonna do anything else but continue to stay on this mission until I see it through, until I say it's complete, that is why. Because it doesn't matter what anything externally is. There is no threat, there is no uncomfortability, there is no amount of suffering that will steer me from what I wish to do, because that is the life I wish to live. It's inevitable.
I don't know if you saw that video of the mayor of Chicago referring to Trump as small, but the things he said right before that comment really resonated with me. He basically said that Trump is pointedly intimidated by intelligent black men. It made me think of when I was in the studio about a week or so ago with an artist a little bit younger than me. They're probably going to see this, right? It was my first time meeting them, and it was just immediately evident to me how fucking smart they were. Like, it was just radiating off of them. And I'm not talking about how educated they are, right? Because there's a difference. You can be given all the tools, but if you can't connect dots, you know, it's just different, right? This person is just really, really smart. They were asking me, how can I get on TikTok? I was like, you should leverage your intelligence, talk about the things that matter to you, and make that the focal point of what you do. And they were basically like, yeah, I feel like I downplay my intelligence a lot. Like, I upplayed the whole ditzy thing or whatever. And I was just thinking about how normalized that is. Like, especially for black men, not ditzy maybe necessarily, but the idea of like downplaying our intelligence. And I really do feel like the most radical thing you can do as a black man is be fiercely and unapologetically intellectual. Like, because it really does intimidate people. Like, it's just on unapologetic, right? Like, however you speak, however you exist, show up in that way and bring your intellect with you. And don't apologize for it. Don't amend it whatsoever. Because no matter what direction you go in, there's going to be someone trying to curtail aspects of who you are, to snip and prune at you and your personality. It's like if love and hate aren't truly opposites, but rather love and apathy are opposites, then respectability politics and what I'm describing are kind of like love and hate. Like, there are some similarities between the ways that the Black Panthers rolled around and the ways that these like talented 10th bourgeoisie black old money circles roll around, right? There's some similarity in terms of the pride that they carry themselves with. The only difference being that, like, you know, when you yank on the leash of these people in these bougie circles, it's connected to some white master who is determining what the lion does, right? So it's a defanged lion, as opposed to showing up in a room as just a lion that is self-determining and autonomous. And like, yeah, that's intimidating. I hope you're intimidated by it. And I think the thing is, like, because we're always perceived as like threats, there's a literal danger in showing up in a space and being intimidating. Like, that can be literally threatening to your life. I think most Black men at some point have an experience that affirms that very pointedly. But in that way, I think it's radical in some ways, within reason and within the bounds of your own safety, to lean into that and be like, yeah, be intimidated. I'm him. And that's why I love learning about the Haitian Revolution, because like white supremacy constructs all of these narratives about us being physically superhuman, which justifies seeing us as a threat or using us as a resource for unpaid slave labor. White supremacy chooses to weave that into the cultural narrative. So when you show up in spaces where that's already floating in the air, where it's already kind of baked into the cultural zeitgeist, and then you choose to show up unapologetically intelligent, it intimidates the hell out of people. You might as well be a superhero. And I think that's fucking dope.
Many of them were born in our country. I think we ought to get them the hell out of here, too. You want to know the truth. So maybe that'll be the next job that we'll work on together.
Now, if from my calculations, if they're correct, carry the 1 over the 0 and the 2, I think he means citizens. That's what I think he means, because that's the only people who are born here, okay? That we've been here for quite some time. And when you start mentioning criminals, because I started listening to what he was saying, talking about, you get pushed over by into a subway and everything. I'm like, where is he getting this from?
But I think getting them out, we forget about them. We had some bad accidents in New York, and they're not accidents. They were done very much on purpose. People being pushed into a subway just before it arrives, going 40 miles an hour. And they're 10 feet away from where the thing is, you get pushed right into the face of the subway train, get whacked and killed. And these are sick people. I'd like to get them out of here, too.
And then I check it out. I'm like, this is an actual story. Apparently, there was a black man who pushed somebody into the subway, and they were, gravely injured. I'm like, that's interesting. Now, aside from that story, who on God's green earth do you believe that they're talking to in the United States of America, or they're talking about when referencing criminals? Okay, I'll give you some time. Black people, that's who they're talking about. Us. That's what they're talking about.
Wake up, nigga.
To be more specific, black and brown. Okay, that's what but they already have their way for the brown, because that's thanks to ICE and deportation. But now they had a problem with the black people, because one thing they didn't want is black people. They're like, oh man, goodness gracious, y'all are here and we got no way to get y'all out. So what we're gonna do is incarcerate y'all. That's what they did. Now they're talking about, now we gotta figure out a way to get y'all up out of here. Because the goal, you have to understand the goal, Stephen Miller and the racists that he has in his cabinet is an all-white society. It's an all-white country. They wanna go back to like way back in the Naturalization Acts. Because if you read the naturalization laws and stuff like that, it was for white citizens. That's what they wanna go back to. That's what their white ignorant base wants to go back to. Now, do I think that they'll be able to survive? No, because racism it's like work for a worker bee. You ever know that if you put a worker bee and you give it nothing to do, it'll die. That's what'll that's what'll happen. So if they try and do something like that, there will be some type of revolution. Because the only thing that's keeping the white ignorance at bay is the fact that they get to taunt, ridicule, demean, and belittle Black Americans. That's the only thing. It goes back to the Lyndon B. Johnson quote, okay? That's the only way they get to dig out of their pockets. That's the only way they get to hustle them when it comes.
Right. Welcome back again to the African Streamline. Thank you for coming and thank you for always being here. I really appreciate your presence. Now, we are going to agree, me and you, all of us, both of us. Donald Trump is one among the people who really fear the Black Americans. And Black Americans, on my own perspective and views, I think, Black Americans need to be feared. And anybody who doesn't know them or anybody who is against them should be afraid and should be scared. It's normal. So I'm not surprised to see Donald Trump having that great fear to the Black Americans, because indeed, anybody who is against Black Americans or Black people at large needs to be afraid and needs to really fear. Why am I saying this? If you have anybody around anybody around, whosoever he is, who always tells you the truth, even when you're doing wrong, this is somebody who can stand up and tell you the truth, tell you whatever you're doing is wrong, don't do it. A time is coming when you're going to fear this person, because anytime you want to do something that is wrong, you're feeling like this person is watching me, and at times or at some point he's going to tell me the truth. So you keep on fearing this person. It gets to a point to a point that when you want to do something wrong, you check in if this person is looking at you, seeing you, or he is absent, so that you can be able to do whatever the things you want to do. If he is absent, you're going to go ahead and do it. If he's present, you won't do it because you fear that this person will tell you the truth. Number 2, if you have people who can be able to prophesy, or they can be able to foretell the future, to see what's coming, what's ahead, you're going to fear this person if at all you're this kind of a person who does the wrong things. Why am I saying this? Because even before you do something wrong, they have already informed the people that this person wants to do something wrong, or this person is about to do something that isn't right. And so even before you lie to the people, people already know that you're going to do something that is not right, or the actions or the plans you have to the people are not good plans. And therefore you start fearing this person. You don't want this person to exist. You don't want this person to be close to you, because he's going to destroy a lot of your plans that you have, most especially if they are bad plans. You know, if you have around people, if you have around people who know how to endure toughness, they know how to survive in difficult times, in difficult positions, they know how to maneuver and to come about situations. Even when you oppress them, they will still rise up. You're going to fear these people, most especially if you're an oppressor, or if you're somebody who likes oppressing other people or discriminating other people. In this case, Black Americans have shown, they have proved their power, they have proved their capability, they have proved their potential, and all along they've been showing the whole world how strong they are and how they can survive even in difficult situations. And now, I can say that Donald Trump really fears the Black Americans, because whenever Black Americans are being oppressed, or whenever everything oppressing is being directed to them, they can still work it out, they can still survive, they can still come out successfully, and therefore, these kind of people, you must fear them, because you can't defeat them. Whatever you do, it doesn't matter what you do, it will not affect them. Okay? If you have people around who have the nature and the characteristics of saving other people, saving those who are in trouble, saving those who are crying, those who are suffering, you're definitely going to fear these people. Now, Black Americans have had a character of saving other people, of creating solutions to problems that have been difficult in the United States of America, in that many people want to run to the Black Americans when they need help. They want to run to the Black Americans for help. Whenever they want something, they're considering running to the Black Americans. Black Americans have been protesting all along, not only for themselves, but also for other people. Let me jump to that point. So when you have these people around, people who save other people who provide solutions to problems, you're definitely going to fear this person, most especially if you creating problems is when you want to create problems to get to be okay, like to reap from all these problems, or to make other people suffer for your own advantages or for your own benefits. Number 5 or number 6, let me say, if you have people around who don't entertain, they don't entertain bad things. Whenever you do something bad, whenever you violate rights of the people, they don't like people who are violating other people's rights. They can't sit down when bad things are being committed by the government or whoever the person committing them. They can't sit down and just look at it. You're definitely going to fear these people, most especially if you are somebody who is committing or violating the rights of individuals. Now, Black Americans are this kind of people. They have always been fighting for other people. They've been protesting whenever the government would do wrong. They've been going on the road. They've been demonstrating. They've been fighting the government. Anytime the government tries to look like it's committing, it's violating the rights of people, it's discriminating people and all that. And even the white people used to be discriminated. They were only made to believe they are not being discriminated, they are not being oppressed. You can see it right now. What is happening right now can really tell you that even whites themselves, they have been mistreated all along. Because now that black Americans are now sitting down and they're considering not fighting for anybody, now you can see what is happening in the white Americans, in the midst of the white Americans, But black Americans have been fighting and protesting. They would not sit down and see anything bad happening, and they're just keeping quiet. And therefore, that is the reason as to why Donald Trump really fears the black Americans. They fear the black Americans because of the potentials they have, because of the capabilities they have, because of the power they have, because of the ability to foretell the future, ability to solve situations, ability to come about issues, ability to manage things that many people thought they cannot be able to manage. These people are phenomenal. They are strong. And therefore, that is why they are being feared so much. Take a look at these videos. Tell me what you think about it in the comment section. I would do my best to make sure I read all the comments and give a response where possible. I am Atamba, this is African Streamline. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always being here. I really appreciate your presence. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But until then, let's take a look at the video first.
Blacks and you have niggers.
What's the difference between a black person and a nigger to you?
I've talked to black people. Black people, they don't want to come up here. They don't want to cause any trouble. That's a black person. A nigger wants to come up here and cause trouble all the time. That's the difference.
Of black people, what is it you are afraid black people are going to do? I mean, that's what I'd like to know.
I'm afraid of them coming to Forsyth County. I lived in Atlanta. I was born in Atlanta. And in 1963, the first blacks were bused to West Fulton High School. And I go down there now and I see my neighborhood and my community, which was a nice community, a nice neighborhood, and now it's nothing but a rat-infested slum area because they don't care. They don't care. Thank you.
No, wait, stand up, stand? You know. Do you mean they, us, the entire black race? The entire black race?
Blacks and you have niggers.
What's the difference between a black person and a nigger to you?
I've talked to black people. Black people, they don't want to come up here. They don't want to cause any trouble. That's a black person. A nigger wants to come up here and cause trouble all the time. That's the difference.
Hey, all you MAGAs out there who support Donald Trump. This is Ken Williams here, speaking to you live from Pennsylvania. Well, it's not live, it's video, so you guys get the hint, okay? I got something to say. I hear all you guys talking about how, Kamala, why you ain't talking to the press? Kamala, why you ain't talking to the press? Kamala, why you not talking to the press? Kamala, why you not talking to the press? Are you scared? You scared the press gonna find out the real you? Really? Now, I find out that Donald Chicken Trump is bailing out of his next debate with her. But, so, who's really the coward? Who's really the chicken who won't debate? Huh? It seems like to me, Donald Trump is running scared. Donald Trump is running with his little tiny mushroom tail between his legs because he do not want that butt whooping he got on the 10th. Now, you guys parade him with his face on fictional character's body, but really, he is none of those characters. Because none of those characters will run from a debate. But your president, that you said he's tough on the economy, he's tough on this, he's tough on crime, he's tough on this, but he's not tough enough to debate a woman for a second time. Donald Trump, this is not surprising to me. So if I act surprised, don't worry about it. I'm not surprised. Because real men don't run. Real men stand and fight. And if he even cared about this country, he would order another debate. He won't. He's scared. I'm sorry, let me go project on you. He's scarred. He's scarred. That's what he is, scarred. Okay? That's what Trump is. Trump do not want to debate a woman because he can't defeat a woman when it comes to the presidency. He knows if he debate her again, he'll lose a lot of respect from you Trumpers. And all you Trumpers going to say he won because he said that in the, I won, so I don't need to debate her anymore. No. You can deny all you want. You and I both know he lost the debate. And now you people know that he's too much of a coward, scaredy cat, chicken fence wall to debate her again because he knows he can't control himself when he opens his mouth. And Kamala poured out his weakness. And he knows that. So he's running scared. He's running scared. And I'll repeat this again. He's running with his small mushroom tail between his legs. Kamala is going to be our next president, Trump supporters. Okay? You need to learn to deal with that and move on. Now, if some of you guys going to be upset and going to move to Canada, go right ahead. By the way, you can't, if you want to apply to move to Canada, it's a 5-year wait. That means you got to stay here for another 5 years. Yeah. But Kamala is going to be your next Madam President. You have a nice day now. You hear?
America hate Africa. They hate us. Hey.
America hates Africa?
Hate
I
Africa.
never heard that.
How you, come on, gang. Every picture they showed you of Africa been places with no water, dirt bags, like starving kids, and that's not even how Africa look. Cause every picture they showed you, they hate them, because they can't even show their good side, so they gotta hate Africa. Because they made me think that Africa was just a poor country, and you don't want to go there. But that's not true. That's one small part of Africa. But that's the only part they showed you on commercials over and over again, over and over again. So they want to get you the picture that if you black, this what your home look like. Yeah, but you wouldn't understand.
Well, tell me.
I'm
learning.
You. I just told you, you wouldn't understand, gang, how I go. But Africa not up as they say it is. Who? I'm African too. Oh, you ain't know I was African? Yeah, I'm from Kemet.
Donald Trump seeing black people. My friends, let me explain that to you. When Donald Trump made the statement the other night that his lighting was going bad and he couldn't see good, and then he said he could only see the black people, well, it was told that there were only 4 black people in the whole place. And 2 of those asses were up on the stage, and you know who they were, especially the one senator from South Carolina that should have been in Django. What a disgrace to the black race or any race. What Trump meant was, when he couldn't see white people, his nightmare of being at a rally with nothing but intelligent black people or people of color there along with him is a nightmare to Trump. So when he couldn't see his white ignorant buddies out there who support him and his black ignorant buddies, who was only 2 or 3 there, he freaked out. That's what he meant. That was exactly what he meant. And when he said, I've come a long way, the long way meant he would have ran out of there hollering like a little bitch if he had been in there with all people of color. Trump and his followers are nothing but people straight from the devil. Because when you support evil, what do you think you are?
Trump really hates black people and women. You know how cunning Trump is? Don't flip the screen just yet. I'm going to explain to you just how cunning Trump is in the execution of his racism, in the display and operation and processing of his racism. I'm going to explain to you just how devious and deep his racism is. Yesterday, he held a Black History Month celebration at the White House. Black History Month celebration at the White House. The guy who can't stand black people. And many came on many social media outlets and TV saying, oh, he's holding a Black History Month celebration. He gave, I think, a medal to Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is questionable to me in many ways in his relationship with black people. I'll get back to that another time. But anyway, Tiger Woods was there. I think Mike Tyson was there and a whole host of other black conservatives. And they were all lauding Trump's Black History Month celebration. I stood with a question mark in my mind. I said, something's afoot here. Something is afoot here. But you know what we found out? The very next day, get this, he fires the Black Joint Chief of Staff, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, C.Q. Brown, General C.Q. Brown, a supremely qualified man for that job, who had been on the job for, I think, 16 months. The tenure for that job is typically 4 years or more, typically. Trump fired that man the day after the Black History Month celebration. Along with Admiral Franchetti, Chief of Naval Operations. Both her and C.Q. Brown will both be replaced by white males. Hegseth fired Franchetti, and Trump fired the chairman of the Joint Chiefs because he works for the White House. The very next day. So it got me to thinking. He was just buttering everybody up for what he was going to do the next day. He knew before the Black History Month celebration at the White House, he was going to fire C.Q. Brown. They had already talked about it. Both of those jobs, as I said, will be returned to white males. When they say make America great again, that's what they mean. Oh, yes, they do. And racists will sometimes hug you and stab you at the same time. Racists will sometimes do that kind of thing. They will hurt you at the same time. Yeah. Some of the best racists smile in your face, hug you, and at the same time, destroying you from behind. Absolutely. So when I tell you Trump hates black people, I mean exactly what I'm saying. The sad part about it is the black conservatives that were all smiling around there are all pawns in his game. All you guys are there just to make him seem like he's not racist, and he loves to put y'all out there to display y'all as not being, as a sign he's not racist. The only black job he got in his administration for a black person is the HUD job, which is generally considered the black job. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff is not supposed to be a black job to Trump. So, Donald J. Trump hates black people, women, and other minorities. You better trust and believe that.
And it's being told to us that they won't be able to reopen the government until after that rally because they can't face their rabid base. I mean, this is serious business hurting real people. And I'm beyond words. I can't believe they're actually doing this.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker,
One part of this really stands out to me. The use of the word Antifa. Antifa, as you know, is a decentralized organization. It's an organization with no known leader. It's essentially just a decentralized conglomerate of groups across the country. But that hasn't stopped Speaker Mike Johnson from describing the upcoming protest as Antifa-led. And that to me shows that they are trying to quell the amount of people that are going to show up. Because earlier this year, the Trump administration signed an executive order designated Antifa as a terrorist organization, despite the fact that, once again, there is no leader. It is a decentralized group. And so what Mike Johnson is setting the stage for is for the Trump administration to potentially go after individual protesters or the groups that are helping lead it. And well, that should danger everyone. That should scare everyone. And this morning, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy repeated the false claim that the protests are Antifa-led and, quote, paid for, and once again questioned who is funding the protests. Check this out.
But again, the No Kings protest, Maria, really frustrating. I mean, this is part of Antifa, paid protesters. It begs the question, who's funding it? But yeah, Democrats want to wait for a big rally of a No Kings protest, when the bottom line is, who's running the show in the Senate? Chuck Schumer's not running the show. The No Kings protesters or organizers are running the show. Is AOC threatening a primary against Chuck Schumer? Is she running the show? But you need a strong leader in the Senate to take control and make decisions. And Chuck Schumer's blown in the breeze. He has no power, no authority, because he's given it up to his primary opponent, potentially in AOC, or to the No Kings protester organizers, and it's shameful.
And Secretary
Duffy's talking points are nothing more than attempts to delegitimize dissent and distract from the legitimate grievances that are fueling these movements across the country. Demonstrators are coming out and they're marching, they're protesting, and millions of people across the globe are ready to do it. Now, I do want to talk about why this is so important, because if No Kings Day 2.0 reaches its projected size, it would meet what political scientists call the 3.5% rule. Harvard professor Erica Chenoweth and researcher Maria Stefan found that when just 3.5% of the population actively participates in sustained nonviolent protest, those movements almost always succeed in bringing about political or societal